Hi, friends. Welcome to the Why on Earth Community Sustainability and Stewardship series. I'm here with my friend Brook and we're at Sustainable Settings just outside Carbondale, Colorado. Beautiful spring day. There's actually a workshop going on behind us with some beekeeping experts and students. And Brook, we've been friends now for something closing in on 20 years, I think I might have to say.
Something like that.
And, it's been such a wonderful journey and adventure. I, of course, worked up here at the ranch about 15 years ago, right after Sustainable Settings was able to become stewards of this property.
Yeah.
And I am so struck over the course of that time how Sustainable Settings has really become one of the epicenters of soil building, soil stewardship, and creating land medicine that can be used in communities all over. And we'll talk about that in a bit. But I thought before diving into some of that, I might ask you, Brook, as we're going forward and as you've had the opportunity to live and steward here for now 15 plus years, how do you see Sustainable Settings fitting into the broader framework of our state, our country, this continent, going forward in this era of intensive stewardship and regeneration?
Well, I think we just kind of bit off a little bit more than we could chew. And we decided to find a place and heal it. And what we found out in time was we could in fact do that. We could in fact bring back and rebuild the soil fertility bank and all the life, revitalize and regenerate the life that actually are the real farmers. And that we would, so we were able to do that. And what we found out after 10 or 12 years was that first we have this kind of ring of health right here at the ranch, and people came then to get food. And so then once this was healthy, about a 60-mile radius was the community getting milk and meat and eggs and vegetables and things like that. And so the ring of influence or ring of health or whatever went there. And then we did medicinal herbs, and apothecaries for a 200-mile radius started to. So we're starting to heal bigger rings of influence or whatever you want to call it. And then we made the biodynamic preparations and started that company to actually make and sell high quality biodynamic preparations, which we'll have to talk about.
Yep.
But now those are sold from California to New York and Canada to Mexico. So once we got this abundant and fertile and healthy, we began to help heal outer rings of and bring in balance other places. And so now the preps, for instance, are helping the therapy, their land therapies that are helping heal other farms around the country.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And so, but first we really had to get this, or get us really, alert to that everything's alive, and that and to reestablish our relationship with and become intimate with this place. And it was through that the life started to come out of hiding, basically.
Yeah.
We had chased, we or all of us, with especially industrial agriculture and other things, had chased the life down. They were kind of like, do we trust you? We're down here. Do we want to really work with you anymore? And so it took a few years for us on the physical level to do all those good organic and biodynamic kind of things. And as we got going and we became more intimate, we just saw the life take on.
Yeah, that's beautiful. You mentioned a couple minutes ago that the life are the real farmers. Can you expand on that in a way, some of my friends maybe many miles from here would be able to relate to and comprehend what you mean by that?
Well, there are more beings or things on you and in you than your own cells.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so understand that first, which some
The
people
microbiome, right?
Yeah. So there's the probiotics, the microbiomes. There's all these things going on, and literally more than we are.
Yeah.
And so we've lost track of that relationship actually. But in a handful of soil is about the same population of humans on the earth.
Right.
So there's 7 billion living things in a handful of good, healthy soil.
Yeah.
And so
7 billion.
yeah, 7 billion at least.
Yeah.
And so given that, we're walking on a lot of life and we're disturbing a lot of life, especially with agriculture and more so conventional ag. But anyway, we're kind of stuck with agriculture at this point. Agriculture is 10,000 years old. We no longer can, as a population, hunter-gatherer,
Yes.
which was actually human beings in a sustainable relationship. So now it's like, okay, well, how can we do that as well as we can? So sustainability is a tough concept. Definitely there are things we can do that work better than others and encourage other things.
Yeah, and as you know, the work we're doing through the Y on Earth community and our growing network of ambassadors has us really focused on the things we can do, regular folks can do in the course of our busy lives.
Yeah.
And one of the things that strikes me as so potent, so powerful, is our ability to work with the soil activator prep coming from sustainable settings and start healing the microbiome of the soil in our own homes, our own yards, our own neighborhoods and parks. And through that, we also start healing ourselves. And you mentioned the microbiome. We like to say with our thriving framework in the Y on Earth community that if we get really good at being stewards of the microbiome in our body and the microbiome in the soil, golly, a whole lot of other good will follow. And what thrills me about our connection with you and what you're doing at Sustainable Settings is we truly have a potent land medicine, soil medicine that we can now share with people all over.
Yeah. Well, and I'll say this about that, is that I'm skeptical. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I'm conservative, but I'm skeptical. And, but we try things here. Yeah. And so when we established this place, it's meant to be a living laboratory and to take risks and try things, not to make the same mistakes. And in fact, Rose has on her computer, "Make new mistakes." There's a little quote on her screen.
Love it.
So what so here we really do everything wrong, and we're not going to make it, and we're the nut jobs down the road, So, but that's okay. We don't care. But in other words, what we do is we hear of these different things, and some of them are very physical in their approach, like rotational grazing or other stewardship ideas. And so we try things, and if they work, we keep them in our quiver, so to speak, and our stewardship quiver. And then, we understand really that our job is conductors in an orchestra of life. We're really not the farmers. We're there to establish help create arenas and relationships that are the most beneficial for all the life that's really doing the farming. Mm-hmm. And so in the biodynamic aspect of our quiver, or of our stewardship package, you might say, we we began to first buy them from somewhere else. Then we started to make some of them, and finally we heard the call. The demand was so great, and there was not enough good quality biodynamic preparations. These are the land therapies that you talked about, or the homeopathic treatments or whatever. And we decided to start Biodynamic Source.
Yeah.
So there's Sustainable Settings is the ranch and this experimental place, and then Biodynamic Source is a company that Lloyd Nelson and I started to make and distribute and educate around the biodynamic preparations and their power and in our effort, in our work. And so these are things that might be a stretch for some people. This little jar is for 10 acres or 12 acres,
Right.
and which means if you only have an acre or even a yard, still get the thing and use it. Maybe you get 2 or 3 treatments from it.
Yeah.
But what I try to tell the interns here is, be careful of what you know. It might get in your way. And so try things.
Yes.
And if they work, keep it. If they don't, then you didn't waste too much time or money.
Right.
And you build your own, for your place, your own quiver of methodologies and tools and things like that. And so there's no formula, in a sense. There's no set way of doing things.
Right.
We are in a constant communication, dialogue, response with nature in our place. And so that's different for you in your place. Different from your place.
I feel and probably say this pretty often to folks that we are so fortunate to be alive in these times, as challenging as they are.
Absolutely.
And we have this opportunity to give it a try, give it a shot. And, I've been playing around and experimenting with the soil activator prep in my yard for a couple of seasons now. And it is remarkable how the soil is responding as that community of microorganisms, 1 billion in each handful, gets going. It is accelerating that soil building function that we know is pulling carbon from the atmosphere, helping to reverse climate change. I'm seeing species of flowers show up that weren't there previously, and the food and greens and herbs that I'm growing in my own little home plot are becoming more prolific, more delicious, probably I would say more nutritious. And it's remarkable, and it really didn't take much from me to do that. It took me taking that step. And this is a big part of what we're encouraging folks through the Y on Earth community to do, is take that step and make that gesture in your yard, in your neighborhood, and let's see what we might be capable of. I know this is something you've been asking since coming to this land. What do you think we're capable of, Brook?
What are we capable of was an essential question. And on this short video, we can't get in too deep, but we're actually capable of a lot, and our intention is very powerful.
Yes.
And I always ask people, have you ever been in love?
Right.
Do you know what that feels like?
Right.
And so you understand that between 2 people, or a dog and you, or whatever. But when you bring that intention to all of the life that you are gardening with or growing with or working with, and plants, animals, domesticated animals for meat, whatever it is, that guess what? It's a shift. And so the preparations and this Buffalo soil activator and field spray, that biodynamic source that you're putting in your package, is it does do something, but it also gets you in your space and helps you become more intimate. And so your intention is actually kind of a driver of what is in the prep.
Yes.
So when you stir it up a little bit, you're thinking about all the life and the soil and the trees and the plants and the people who come by, and the food you're going to eat and share, and so that's an intention. And guess what? It matters.
Intention matters. Yes.
Even science is bumping up against it, and they don't want to admit it. But
some of us, our scientist friends, are starting to, and it's making for some amazing discovery, exploration, and conversation.
Nature has intention.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I want to mention, for those of you out there enjoying our podcast, you can use the code podcast at yonearth/market to get some discounts on some of our ebooks and other products there. And then want to encourage folks who are catching our video to check out some of our other videos at yonearth.org/community. And We also, with biodynamic source, that's .org, biodynamicsource.org.
That's right.
And sustainablesettings.org.
Correct.
Beautiful website, and some amazing shots of Mount Sopris right near here. And as you mentioned, Brook, through the Y on Earth community, we're also making available the biodynamic source buffalo soil activator and field spray as part of our work to help heal land, communities, neighborhoods all over North America. And
but mostly our relationship to
mostly
that.
our relationship.
We are the work. I think 21 years ago, we thought we were going to save the planet. So we wanted to do this thing. But we found out we really needed to save the people, that
Save
whole
the
thing.
humans,
But what we really started was a farmer rehabilitation center, because the work is us changing our minds and changing our intent and focusing our intention. It's really not nature. We need to wake up and shift.
That's beautiful, bro. Yeah. Well, I want to thank you for taking a few minutes here out of, I know you're a very busy day hosting this workshop, and Brook, thank you for the work you're doing and for sharing this with so many of us. And my heart sings thinking that over these next several weeks and months and years, that this is going to get shared with a whole lot more people, and it's going to be part of what allows us to create the kind of culture and future and web work of relationships that I know we're working to create. So thank you.
My pleasure, and you can't help yourself, can you? Thank you for doing what you're doing too.
All right. I can't help it.
Good to see you.
Yeah. You too, bro. Thanks.